Good afternoon. This is Dr. Nicolas Retana. I'm the author of the new book called The Mexican Men Chronicles. And what I'd like to do today is read another poem that's going to be in the book. This particular poem is sort of the beginning of more of an epic poem. I think that down the road I'll probably enhance it and then publish it as a single epic poem. This one's about my grandfather, Jose Campos de la Rosa. Here's a picture of him. He's in the middle with his two buddies. And what was unique about my grandfather, Jose, was that he was a Villista, which means that he fought in the war, the Mexican Revolution. He joined when he was only like 14 years old, and he didn't come back to his village until he was 24 years old. So for 10 years, he was gone. No one knew where he was, if he was alive, if he was dead, whatever. But thankfully, he survived. He was shot 7 different times. He had a bullet lodged in his forehead that we used to always feel, a little bump on his forehead. He had a bayonet wound in his leg. He'd been shot 6 other times throughout his body, but fortunately, none of them were fatal. So this poem's about my grandfather, and what I'm trying to create in this particular poem is a setting of basically his courageous effort to be a Villista, and then followed by the way that he met his wife, my grandmother, Josefa. So this one's called Villista. Well, I want to point out to you that when Pancho Villa was recruiting soldiers in the Mexican Revolution, what he would do is he would have horses without riders. They had a saddle, a rifle, maybe a little provision bag, maybe a blanket. And they would ride through the Mexican towns in Chihuahua. And if you were brave enough to jump on one of those horses, you would ride away, and then they would train you how to use a rifle, and then you'd become a Villista, and then they would appoint you wherever he needed you to fight. So this is called Villista. The clouds of dust could be seen miles away. Horses without riders were led by men with big sombreros and long mustaches, rifles strapped to their saddles. Jose raced up the hill to get a better view. His sister Maria was carrying a bucket of water, shouted at him. "Who are they?" "Villistas," he said. Tall and muscular for 14, he looked at his sister and he inhaled deeply. "Adios, hermanita." Jose raced down the hill toward the parade of men. "Jose," she shouted. The sound of horses and gritos echoed through the valley. 10 years later, a man watered his horse by the village stream, and he noticed a young girl looking at him. She was fair-skinned, long black hair, who smiled at him from afar. That night, a knock on the door surprised Isaac, the old boss miner. "¿Qué quieres?" "Open the door, me llamo Jose." The rusty hinge creaked as the door was slowly opened. Deep-voiced and serious toned, the stranger said, "I am here to see the girl they call Josefa." Isaac motioned for his sons to go outside, scrutinize and report. Who was this man standing in the shadow? His 3 sons said, "This man needed to be respected." Norms in the city of gold demanded that a man be unafraid. His fists and his swagger, volumes they spoke. Impatient, eyes like bullets, he stared at the 3 brothers. Words were unspoken. The lead cartridges in his belt were clean and they shone brightly in the moonlight. Nicolas, he spoke to his father first. "Es un hombre, he's a man of war." Most passed through, but this one wasn't going away. Isaac understood. "Ándale, Josefa, ven." Curious and shy, the fair-skinned beauty with the longest of hair, freshly bathed, she stood next to her father, like so many times at Mass. "You have a suitor, my child," he said. Jose spoke next. "I saw you at the river washing clothes. My heart stopped. Your fair skin and your beauty is how I imagined an angel to be." Isaac stood tall and proud, discerningly trying not to show fear to this revolutionary, battle-scarred man, now asking for the hand of his precious, innocent girl. "Come tomorrow night, senor, and we will receive you properly." Jose moved closer to the candlelit front door so that Josefa could see his dark, handsome face. Electricity poured forth, and he tipped his sombrero toward her father and her brothers. "Mañana." His solid silver spurs, clicking on the cobblestones, transfixed Josefa, as she memorized every move of this tall, lean, muscular body entering the darkness of the clear El Oro night.